Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome to a shorter discussion video. So last video at the end, I said that this video was more likely going to be a Sarada and Mitsuki video, and that this video was essentially going to be me exploring the possible ways Sarada and Mitsuki could reach a Satsuki level, while also slightly talking about the power scaling issue I personally have when it comes to the future of the manga. And as I was preparing to write the script for that video, I thought, why not just discuss the power scaling worries I have as a whole and not just restrict it to only Sarada and Mitsuki. So that essentially is what we are going to do today. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, I've kind of given my thoughts on this topic already, which I'm basically going to elaborate on in this video. I also give a bunch of other personal takes and even say some random shit. So if you haven't followed me already, I'd appreciate if you check out the link in the description below. Now finally getting on to today's topic. It is obvious that the power scaling for some characters have taken a pretty big leap in this arc compared to even the Kawashiki arc. And don't get me wrong, I've seen a few people on Twitter complain about people complaining that the story is choosing to only just focus on Naruto, Sasuke, Kawashiki, and Boruto, which, yeah, kind of seems to be the main four in this manga, or when the arc seems to be reaching its final climax. And honestly, I think both sides are fair. I get that this series is monthly, and if they try to build up all of Boruto, Kawashiki, Sarada, and Mitsuki, arcs would go on for like 50 chapters, give or take. So in defense of those who don't care for Sarada, Mitsuki, or the other side characters, and yes, at this point I'm referring to them as side characters, at least when it comes to this arc, I think that it is fair to say most of Sarada and Mitsuki's development, or at least points in the story that aren't super significant, should be kept to the anime. I think what they did in the manga for the Kawashiki arc was fine. It wasn't like she was only in the Boruto fight, and even then, her moment compares to even some of the good parts in that arc. Now, however, on the other side of this problem is what I'm here to talk about, which actually is why I'm worried this series may be approaching a wrong turn of power scaling, and how that could negatively impact a lot of characters moving forward. I think that as the story's power scaling continues to move at this speed, makes newly introduced characters prior pointless, unless they were insanely overpowered beforehand or have an emotional connection to a major character. Let's take Koji for example, debatably one of the most well-liked characters in all of Kara. I think we can agree there. However, his only purpose at this point in returning is the meeting between him and Naruto, which will probably enrage him and make Amado even more sus, to where now Konoha has all these questions about him and why he chooses to make a Jiraiya clone, what are his motives with Kawashiki, and how there is so much more to him that he is keeping a secret. But aside from that, y'all think Koji can even breathe in the same space as full power Code, Eida, or Daemon? He can't match any of them, and it's not even close. And if the story continues to introduce even more powerful enemies, characters like Koji or even Delta, who are probably not going to face upgrades, become completely redundant. Delta was newly reintroduced as Konoha's cyborg protector, but look what happened. And we know the story will eventually come to introduce characters way more powerful than even her. So what's really the point of her trying to help Konoha? Actually, the example I just gave is a perfect one. It completely supports the argument that I'm trying to make here. She was powerful in the Kawashiki arc, which was one arc ago, mind you, but now look at her. And it would have been so much worse if it was Daemon. Eventually, which could be the next arc, the story will get to the point to where even Eida and Daemon themselves, if they don't die at the end of the Code arc, aren't all that. They hold so much power right now in the battle between Code and Konoha, and I said this in my chapter review, but I think the deciding factor to this battle is Eida and who she decides to join. I know it may seem like she's 100% on Code's side right now, but they have been building up a betrayal from her for a while now, so nothing is out of the gate yet. And back to what I was saying, Eida holds so much power narratively in this arc, but what if, let's say, in the next arc, which is probably the time skip, she doesn't seem to be as powerful as she once was because Boruto grew a Rinnegan on his palm that he manifested from Momoshiki when he went 100%, and he and Kawashiki just grew a lot stronger, to where now they both surpass her by miles. And let's say that we get introduced to another Otsutsuki who matches or surpasses Ishiki's power level not too long from now. Besides her connection to Amado, she would serve no purpose really in the same sense as Koji. His connection to Amado and the fact that he and Naruto haven't met yet is probably why Ishiki didn't kill him off. There was still more room for him in the story, even if small. What I'm basically getting at is I'm worried that we may be overcoming a cycle of increased power scaling that could be off the charts, like it kind of is in this arc, that leaves characters who can't match in the dust, unless they have emotional ties to somebody important. I think if Naruto wasn't as important to Kawashiki as he is, he would have no reason to be this involved in the Code arc, because he simply doesn't match any of the three villains right now. And again, like I said, Jiraiya maybe having a connection to Amado is most likely why he wasn't killed off. He also hasn't met Naruto yet. Delta was brought back most likely because of her mysterious connection to Amado. Remember in the Kawashiki arc, there were high rumors of Delta being his daughter, and even if she isn't, there have been theories of another reason reason as to why she specifically was chosen to protect Konoha, despite the fact that she is one of the weaker members. And it's all because of an emotional connection to Amado. If you're not strong enough to go up against the strongest, or if you don't have an importance to a major character emotionally, you serve no purpose in the story moving forward. And I know normally this isn't that big of an issue, it happens in anime, but I worry that this may be happening a little too fast in the Boruto manga. I hope you guys can understand where I'm coming at. It's not that I have a problem with Boruto manifesting the Rinnegan or becoming 100% Otsutsuki. No, the build up to it makes sense. That's how being a vessel of the Otsutsuki works, which they established before. I just think it happened too soon, to where since he and Kawaki basically share the MC role, those who can't catch up to them have been shipped and delivered to the anime, to where they may get an arc or two of anime canon stuff, but nothing important when it comes to the manga stuff, and that's just how it is until the end. In the Kawaki arc, everyone got a piece of action, and I'm not even talking about one-sided fights. I'm talking about Naruto versus Delta, Koji versus Jigen, Kawaki versus Garu, Team 7 versus Boro. Most people have had their moments, to where now and potentially moving forward, it's Boruto versus this person, Boruto and Kawaki versus this person, or my personal favorite, Kawaki versus this person. I just hope that moving forward after this arc, once Boruto reveals his upgrade after being 100%, that for a few arcs they don't get too much stronger. I would like it instead if from next arc and for at least a while, it's slowed down and we eventually get back to what they were doing in the Kawaki arc. I know not every arc has to involve that many characters, but in this case, to where Sarada, Mitsuki, Koji, etc. don't get involved because they literally can't in only just part 1 Boruto, kinda worries me. I know they hinted at their resolve to get stronger, but unless they cheat it, how long is that gonna take? Or is it ever even gonna happen at all? That's really all I wanted to cover today, everyone. I hope my message got across to you all, and if you don't agree or simply don't care for anyone else besides Boruto and Kawaki like that, well, to each their own, but hopefully you at least see where I'm coming from here. It's basically me being worried that this may turn into a cycle, and it's a good idea of what we're gonna get moving forward. If you enjoyed today's video, I'd very much appreciate a like, and for more, be sure to hit that subscribe button below. Thank you all for watching until the end, and I'll catch you on the next one.